Today I'll be talking about ecology and two women who have had extraordinary effects on the field of ecology. So a brief overview of ecology. It is the study of the environment, the world that surrounds us. And there are three trends in ecology. The first is organic ecology. It rose out of the Dust Bowl. And Frederick Clements described it as an environment that has a natural progression where any move that is made against the natural progression will cause nature to react forcefully and aggressively. And so we have a direct cause and effect. Economic ecology is a little more complex than just nature finding a way that, like what we have in organic ecology. Instead, it's more of a cause and effect chain than just one cause and effect. It's the idea that you need grass to feed animals, and animals to feed other animals, and other animals to feed human beings, and human beings to keep populating the earth. And so that gives a more complex view of the economy. And then the third, chaotic, states that there is no set system, there's no right answer. It states that the action plan needed to work on economic issues depends on the economy that you're in. So you won't be using the same problem sets and answers in one environment that you will use in its exact opposite. These movements grew out of the scientific study ecology, which was started in major part thanks to Ellen Shallow Richards. So Ellen Shallow Richards is a forerunner in the field of ecology. She was the only female student during her time at MIT. And during this time at MIT, she became interested in the earth sciences, mineralogy, and working with the elements. So she was primarily interested in studying water, and her research became affected by German biologist Ernst Haeckel and his research being ecology, which is the study of every man's house, the environment around us. And so she developed the interdisciplines of an environmental science she believed that the next 100 years would require. She gave us the frame of mind that we needed to preserve the land that we were in order to have it for the generations to come. And so out of this, she created a science program for women at MIT, which this eventually led to a coeducational college at MIT, and when she brought her study to the public, she was received very well by both common people and public officials. Then after Ellen Shallow Richards was a scientist at the turn of the century. Next we have Rachel Carson, who began her scientific career in the 30s during the Great Depression. And she worked in governmental agencies, primarily as a marine biologist, or at least that's what she was hired for. She ended up editing papers and articles which required her to have a very large breadth of knowledge in the biological field. And so she was able to write many books out of that. And in the 60s, she wrote a book titled The Silent Spring, and it was about how we live in a chemically dangerous world. She was clearly taking Ellen Shallow Richards' research to heart. And this book focused on pesticides and how they kill everything, not just pests. And so this brought ecology and the problems that stem out of this focus into the public sphere. She opposed the USDA. She opposed the makers of DDT, a commonly used pesticide in the 60s, which caused a lot of issues. And her basic argument was, yes, this pesticide is killing pests, but it's also killing everything else it touches. It has the potential to kill us, to kill human beings. And so while Carson was received very well by the general public, she was not received well by the U.S. government. So we can see how these two women are extremely influential in ecology and that field, and we see how these three forms of ecology, organic, economic, and chaotic, developed, and how they were affected by these women's work, and vice versa.